Hey class, so I'm here to talk to you about relating to the real world, what you learn and how I use it every day at work and in the real world in a career using methodologies, analytical methodologies, statistics, research, you name it, we use it. Last time this video talked about modules 1, 2, and 3. We are now at a point where I can talk about modules 4, 5, and 6 and what you learn and how I use that in the real world. So let's start at Module 4. In Module 4, we're going to be looking at, you looked at peer-reviewed articles. You've created research question, hypothesis, and an annotated bibliography. And this is something that I do when I conduct studies. Oftentimes there are studies that need to be done for the university within the institution, and sometimes there's studies that have to be done for the general public, and also there's times where I have to do studies that you submit for publication and it's available for everybody. No matter who the audience is, though, they all follow the same format. And recently I've been having to work and form a research question and a hypothesis and an annotated bibliography. The bibliography is the hardest part of a study, and that's the first place you want to start whenever you do a study. It's the one that requires the most work. It requires a lot of thought because you're trying to form your direction and what you're going to study. Recently I had to do a study on transfer students, and I need to conduct a bibliography and look at the existing research of what's been done for transfer students and their success in higher education compared to students who are not transfer students, who are termed native students, and how they do in STEM fields. So that right off the bat had made me go conduct a literature review. I had to find sources, relevant research. I had to form my research question and a hypothesis. And my research question was, do community college transfer students perform as well as native students in STEM, undergraduate STEM fields? And my hypothesis was, no, I believed that they wouldn't perform as well. A lot of existing research that I found by conducting the literature review says that community college transfer students are at a disadvantage. And I ran my results, I came to my conclusions, and with the population I used at a large university, I found those results to be true, that they are at a disadvantage. Let's look at Module 5. Random assignment and experiments. So the learning objectives for Module 5, these were talking about validity, sampling methods, justifying procedures, and randomizing participants. I can talk about this in a matter of another study that I've done that has to do with salary and equity within a university. And we had to define our population, and we had to justify how we were defining our population. We had to keep a log of our procedures and our methods if anyone had to come and pick the study up, they could see where we started, where we left off, where we're at, and where we're headed. So the sampling methodology to have sound data is we had to make sure the way you have sound data is having a clean data set and accurately defined populations. So we wanted to make sure we included the right faculty, whether or not they are teaching and research faculty, whether they're full-time, whether they're part-time, how do they get paid. All of these variables came into consideration when cleaning and making our samples. Then, once we did that, we had to decide about sampling methods, such as you guys learned about random assignment. We couldn't give random assignment to this experiment because it was a study that looked at a specific population. The challenge for us was accurately defining that population, and the biggest piece was making sure we captured and included everybody that we needed to, and we didn't leave anybody out. Also, on the other side of that coin is that we got rid of anyone who shouldn't be in that population. Okay? So I would call that purposeful sampling. And that again is another sampling method. So we had purposeful sampling. Last piece to that, the psychological experiments. Well, we had to choose a correct stats procedure, and we had to know how to accurately measure what we're trying to capture. And we have to use regression analysis. And this also came from knowing what are we studying, what do we want to get out of the study, and what method of statistics helps get us there. That's how we think, and that's how we form our studies and our research. Moving on to Module 6. Just spent a lot of time talking about Module 6 on the past videos, so it's nice to recap and end with this piece. Module 6, SPSS assignment, your initial draft, which includes your 3 topics, your literature review, your topic conversation of topic of your study, and then your research question and hypothesis. So we use statistical software just like SPSS, and we always have to produce results such as means and standard deviations. That never goes away. You always want to give the mean and the standard deviation while you're doing work. So I do that on a daily basis, which is integrated into a larger piece of work, but it's there. And again, when we work on a study, we have to give somewhat of a similar research proposal and present it. In case in our job, we present it to the committee and we say, this is what we want to study. Here's our question. Here's our hypothesis. Here's what's been done. And when we say here's what's been done, that's the literature review. And then we have to give them concise information integrated, just like you are, and say this is what's been done. It's X, Y, and Z has been carried out. People know this, people know that, but they don't know this. And that's the unknown. And we say we're proposing to carry a study out that will show the unknown or what we're looking at. And it's going to add to the literature and as well help our university understand whatever the topic is that we're discussing. So there you go. Those are examples of how what you're learning in class with me is used in the real world. Next video we'll talk about in the real world will be modules 7, 8, and 9. And possibly 10 since we have only 4 left after that. Class is going very fast. I hope you're finding all of this enjoyable and statistics and research methods are challenging. I'm hoping that this is helping you grasp these concepts a little easier as well as making them enjoyable for you. All right, have a good night, and I look forward to seeing your work. Bye-bye.